'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I'm your hostess, doing the mostest, Karan She, and we are here. Found season 2, episode 20, Missing While Independent. Miss Independent. That's why I love her. So, literally butchered those lyrics. My bad, Neo. So the name of this episode is truly about the case, but I'm gonna say that my recap is gonna be mostly centered, if not all the way centered, on Kelli Williams' performance as Margaret in her relationship with Jamie and the whole thing regarding the kidnapping. And then afterwards, we'll focus on the Gabrielle of it all, because that leads into a lot of questions into episode 21. So we are here, episode 20. There's 3 episodes left. When I tell you, Kelli Williams is such a phenomenal actress. And while she has done fantastic things throughout the season, this episode, for me, has been the most versatile performance that she's done this entire season. A lot of the times, like, you see her be like moody, brooding, hyper emotional, super distant, super mean. But in this episode, you really got to see like the complexities of motherhood, the complexities of trying to reconcile somebody being in your face and in your house and in your space who kidnapped your child, had them for 13 years, and you're just trying to move and navigate through these things. This was such a standout performance. And honestly, I would have to say, if I had to have like an MVP of season 2, it's Kelli Williams. It was neck and neck between her and Gabrielle Walsh, who plays Lacey. If you didn't know, her real name was Gabrielle. But this episode literally just took the cake for me, for Kelli Williams as Margaret, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Real quick, we did get a cameo shout out for Shaker, even though she was not in this episode. I'm getting annoyed, but you know, it's always a good time when we mention Shaker. But as far as this episode goes, outside of the case, we're not even going to talk about this case. Like, the case was cool, it was solved, it was whatever, right? We saw last episode that Jamie was in cahoots with the DCPD, aka Trent, on trying to set up Carrie into meeting him so that she could be turned in. So at the opening of the episode, she realizes very quickly, like, this is a setup and she's not even gonna fall for any of these tricks. So they're just kind of like, okay, we need to figure out what we need to do to get her to come out. But throughout all of these things, Jamie is still reading the journal that Margie gave him. And so you really get to see him connecting with how she felt as a mom in the memories, and kind of battling with all of the things that Carrie has told him throughout the years. So I got a comment on my last video, and somebody was like, you know, why didn't he call anybody? Why didn't he say anything? All these other things. And so this is just a reminder for anybody else who missed it, is that Carrie homeschooled him the whole time he was kidnapped until he was college age. Okay. During that time, when Margaret would call her to confide in her, she would have a certain type of ambiguous conversation on her side of things, so that when she got off the phone and she was telling Jamie, like, oh yeah, she still doesn't want you or whatever, it made it believable, because he would recall what she was saying to his actual mom, and then she would have him fill in the blanks of the things that she left unsaid. So as a 7-year-old, he's gonna be like, okay, well, I heard her say, oh, that's too bad, no, don't give up. Everything's gonna be okay. It's cool. For somebody who's 7 and he's like, okay, you're my mom's friend, like, why would you lie to me? That's gonna be a situation where over time, he's just simply going to believe that his mom gave him away to a family friend. And it wasn't until he was in college where he's like, okay, I want to be out from under your thumb. I just kind of want to live. Where he's like, wait a minute, this may not be what it actually is. But as we've already seen with Gabi's situation with Sir, with Zeke's situation with the family member that kidnapped him, who he's never even turned in. Okay, his kidnappers literally still out there living their lives. You get to really explore the complexities of what that looks like to be at this stage of a relationship with your kidnapper. We met Gabi 20 years after the fact, right? And we already can still see that there's some strife between her and Sir and something that's keeping her connected, but it's 20 years later. Jamie is still a child. Like, he's 20, but the brain is not even done fully developing until you're like 25, 26. You go through so many different puberties after you pass 20 and into your early 30s. So in my eyes, as somebody who's almost 36, like, this is a child. It doesn't matter that he's a legal adult. He's still so closely related to the lies that was told to him. You can really understand, or you should understand and empathize with the struggles that he has with separating the two and trying to separate like the lies from the truth of what his mother wrote every single holiday, every single birthday, anytime there was anything significant that made her think about her son, and to continue to fight for Jamie's survival in his existence and not believing that he was dead. And so that's really at the helm of this episode, okay? And so with this, I'm actually surprised that Jamie was the one that was just kind of like, okay, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great. We need to call Dad. We need to call my sisters. Again, who is this other daughter? Who is this third child, bro? I feel like I've never seen this girl. Have we seen this girl? Please tell me the season and the episode, because the only daughter I know about is Taylor. I do not know this other girl. Like, who is this mysterious figure that is like looming over us in the family that is Margaret and her ex-husband and her kids? Because I don't know this other child. But anyways, Jamie's like, I think it's time to tell my dad. I think it's time to tell our sisters. And Margaret's just kind of like, I don't think so. And at first, you're just like, okay, what is making her be hesitant? But as we go between like the few flashbacks in this episode, and there was like not that many, you really get to see the point where Margaret's thinking that the relationship is going to work, but you see this point where the husband kind of shows, or at least it's interpreted from Margaret's point of view, that their marriage was only contingent on Jamie being found. And so that makes me wonder if the thing that wasn't said out loud is that he blames Margaret and that he feels that it's her fault that Jamie was gone in the first place, and he just never said it. And so you really get to see this in the flashback, and she even calls him out a little bit like, okay, I thought you came here because you missed me, but really it's about the outcome of Jamie's case. Like, you can get the fuck out, like, whatever, it is what it is. And at that point, you really kind of see like the marriage was over in that aspect. So I definitely understand her wanting to protect this, because I think Margaret of today knows that this is a thing that's unresolved and is unsaid, and she doesn't have a relationship with her ex-husband regardless of everything. It really just seems like she has a relationship with her daughters, and that's that. And once they became grown and she didn't need him to like drop them off or do anything like that, not even grown, but just once they were of driving age, you can really kind of see in this episode where that marriage kind of like left off. And it wasn't so much as like anger, so much as I perceived it as blame, really. And not like a blame that's like, oh my God, like, this is your fault, but just like, damn, if you could have controlled your emotions and controlled your thought process with our son and just had a little bit more patience, maybe we wouldn't be here. So almost like pity in the blame, if that makes sense. So we get to a place and Margaret is talking to Jamie and she's like, you know what? I do think we should call your dad and your sisters, but there's something that I need to do. And honestly, I hope in the long run, you don't blame me and you can forgive me for what I'm about to do. So Jamie's just kind of like, what? So Margaret goes and she does a press conference and she's like, listen, I just got to tell y'all that after 13 years, I found my son, but this press conference is not about that. It's about addressing the person who kidnapped my son. And she was like, Carrie, they're all going to laugh at you. Carrie, girl, if you're not going to listen to me, listen to your real son. And boom, Nick is on screen. Okay, so Margaret is at the bus station, and now we're trying to lure her out again, right? But this time, instead of luring her out with the son who she feels that she betrayed her, they're using her real son who she lost when he was sick. 6. This boy is like 20, between age 20 and 22. So you can really like see, like if this were an episode of Criminal Minds when they're like, what was a trigger point that would make her go off the rails or whatever? It's when she lost her child. I'm assuming now, I haven't watched any future episodes yet. I like to get on here super fresh and not watch other episodes so that I don't accidentally like spoil anything for y'all. So in my mind, at this point, Nikki Machi, I'm thinking that within 5 days of Nick getting taken in by CPS, she was at the bus station and witnessed Margaret basically telling Jamie, like, go get out my face and like go do your own thing or whatever. Because it seems to me, as somebody who watches a lot of true crime and somebody who loves Criminal Minds, it seems like that would have been a space in which Carrie was the most vulnerable, and very recently her child was taken away. And now there's an opportunity to be a better mother and a better parent and put herself in a position where she won't lose another child. So I do feel like there's some overlap in that whole situation where she was at her most vulnerable. And that is what drew her out to actually come to the bus station and make herself vulnerable in front of Nick for the first time in 13 years. Okay. So she goes there and she's like super ecstatic and super excited to see her son. But of course, we got plainclothes detectives all around this place and she ends up getting arrested. And as Nick is walking off, she's just like screaming, like, no, 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 like, let me see my son, let me see my son. And that's when you realize, like, Margaret is hoping that while Jamie was the one to initiate getting Carrie arrested, the reality of what that looks like is a lot different than the theory of it all. So while Jamie was like, okay, yeah, she should pay for her crimes, seeing her and reading about her getting arrested will still feel a lot differently because unfortunately, Carrie was a mother to him longer than his own mom. Like, that's just the reality of the situation, you know? So there's that. Found season 2, episode 20, missing while independent. Wow. Okay, so yeah, definitely wanted the recap to be all about the Margaret situation. And I kind of already said at the end what I think the story is and how it's gonna go forward. I definitely believe that Jamie, again, while he initiated this, there's gonna be a lot of conflict. At the end of this episode, her Margaret's husband, ex-husband, ended up coming and meeting her at the gas station. I see more scenes with Margaret's husband, and I see more flashbacks with how the relationship truly disintegrated with not only him, but even her relationship with the children. But Yes, Carrie is the kidnapper, but I don't know. Something still tells me like the way the husband acted and totally disregarded Margaret seems really suspect to me. Like, yeah, you have two more daughters to look after, but I just don't understand why he wasn't as torn as Margaret. There's something there that I don't like, and it's not sitting well with me. So I don't know. Y'all can be like, keep on she, like, it's not even about him, but it's just so odd. And I would hope that there is something there. Otherwise, it's kind of poor writing to not really give like something substantiating behind why he would just walk away from her. Her obsession didn't come from nowhere. Um, so I'm still trying to like grasp at straws here on what their relationship is, and I hope we do get to see that. If not in the next episode, at least in the next season, and really unfolding that now that Jamie is back in the fold, because he not only has to like get reacquainted with Margaret, he has to get reacquainted with his dad and his sisters. They don't know him. And his other mysterious little sister has no memories of him at all. So I'm definitely very curious about like what that is. But on the other side of things, Lena was very much in the background of things this episode, and Gabrielle was kind of like playing like tug of war and chess with Lena in the background. We never see her, but she's out here causing chaos and stuff for Gabi and for Sir. And at the end of this episode, Dhan goes to Sir and he's like, if you had anything to do with this, I swear to God, I'm going to kill you. And Sir is like, what are you talking about? And he was like, Gabi, Lena got to her, and at this point, you really get to see Sir is like truly thrown off guard, because he's like, at the end of the day, I don't do shit to help none of y'all. And he told Gabi this. I don't care about nobody else on M&A. I'm going to do enough for them to satisfy you because I love you. I can give a damn about what they got going on. And in this conversation at the end with Dhan and Sir, you finally get to see Sir kind of very afraid of what Lena can do. He already called her ass dumb like 3 episodes ago and was like, Gabi is smarter than you. And in this episode, they very poignantly say how Lena is smart, or she's using tactics that are very smart and outsmarting authorities. So her intelligence is now called back into play after Sir insulted her to her face. So it's like she went out of her way to prove to her brother that she's not only smarter than him, but she's smarter than Gabi, who he covets more than anybody in this world, even above himself. And so now Sir's composure is completely up in the air. And while he was able to strike a deal with the FBI, he's still back in police custody. He's back in jail. And we're still fighting with his influence in the outside world. So for the first time, you see that maybe there's no way for him to get to Gabi. On the other side, I wonder if Dhan is using this as a tactic to figure out what deal Sir struck with the FBI. Would not put it past Dhan to pretend that Gabi is in severe danger and physically hurt in order to get Sir to acquiesce to whatever it is that they're trying to figure out. Because we already know Dhan is ride or die. Dhan is ride or die. He don't give a fuck. Okay. And he will torture Sir emotionally however he can in order to keep Gabi from having to interact with him or feel like she needs to be connected to him at all times. So definitely excited to see like what that looks like, especially over the next 2 episodes. And I cannot believe there are only 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left. And, definitely privileged and very thankful that I get the opportunity to screen this ahead of time and sit in front of the camera and talk to it and then talk to y'all. But this is one of those shows where while I have the opportunity to watch this ahead of schedule, I really only watch it like hours before y'all end up seeing it on TV because the writing is so good, the stakes are so high, and I really like that adrenaline rush that I get to have with everybody. And I just love walking into every episode super blind. Like, I'm just very passionate about the show. I love the show, whether getting screeners or not. Um, I was always gonna be here. So I genuinely don't know what the fuck is happening next. I will find out next week. I will find out next week with y'all. I hope NBC don't be like, girl, don't be telling them. But yeah, like I'm honored. I love talking about film. I love talking about television. And if I really love something, I love being just stressed and pulling my hair out just like everybody else. And I try to experience the shock and the awe as close to y'all experiencing it as I can while maintaining my schedule to talk to y'all and get my recap and my thoughts and stuff out so we can talk. To my people who be in these YouTube comments, sending me novelas. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love y'all's theories. I love the recall back to season 1 and different episodes in this season. I feel like I'm saying farewell. This is my pre-farewell at the end of this video because I'm not gonna say bye during the finale. But yeah, I am going to miss I'm going to miss the books that I'm reading in these comments. And we still ain't got a season 3 renewal. So thank you for everybody. Oh, my accent coming out. Thank you for everybody who been rocking with me. And then that one time that I missed a week and everybody was on my ass in the comments as well as on Instagram. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, hopefully we can keep rewatching these episodes and picking up clues on Gabi and Sir's relationships. I do not do well with goodbyes, so I'm saying my goodbye while there's still 2 episodes left. And that way in the next 2 episodes and in the next 2 weeks, we could just focus on like all the shit that's gonna happen because this is crazy. And I also predict at the end of the season, we're coming back to the Trents. We're coming back to Papa Trent. We're coming back to these kids and how many more people that are kidnapped, who knows? But that is just a storyline. We're not done with that storyline. We're not done with Mallory. And I'm also predicting that Shaker is going to get moved to a season regular in season 3. Like, we have to. We have to. So I'm putting that out there. I'm saying the things. I know what the F I'm talking about, so NBC Universal. Stop playing, okay? Stop playing on my girl's top, okay? And with that, as always, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave comments in the comment box below. I love talking to y'all. For the people who like audio only, make sure you're sharing the Spotify and the Apple Podcast link. You can always find me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, where I'm posting so many different things about other different shows, films, trailers, etc. that I do not talk about on this podcast. You can also find short form content and reviews on my TikTok at Kivanji. And occasionally you will see some of those things on my YouTube shorts, but baby, we're expanding. We are a brand, okay? And you can also find me on Twitter at Kiwanchi. And real quick, guys, I'm at 300 followers. Thank you so much. This is crazy that 300 people choose to stay here and thousands of you chose to watch me and even come here. I started this podcast the end of July in 2024 at 0 followers. I was a nobody. And I like talking about movies, films, and stuff like that. I've loved it my whole life. But Twitter, it just wasn't enough characters for me to say what I wanted to say. And so I revamped my podcast and came back on here with 0 subscribers. 0. Okay. And I got on here, got in front of the camera, posted my video, posted my voice. And from the first review and recap that I did to this one being what, my 122nd podcast episode. Most people do podcasts once a week, and there's 52 weeks in a year. I've done 2 years worth of podcast episodes in less than 12 months. And to have a little over 300 of y'all like listen to me, talk to me, debate with me, or whatever, it means a lot. It means a lot. I was recently asked what I thought I was doing, or what, like, if I thought my podcast was good or what I was doing was good, and I never even thought about it. I just came on here and y'all listen to the shy part of me. I came on here and I just want to talk about film and TV and my thoughts and my ideas. And I just felt like if even one person talked back to me, that would be enough. And here we are. Yikes. So thank you. Thank you. Jesus is my accent. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. Spreading the word, the comments, the debates, calling me out, agreeing with me, giving me alternate perspectives. At the end of the day, I'm just here to talk about film in a respectful manner. We don't always have to be on the same page. I just like getting inside people's heads, inside people's brains, as we talk about all the stuff that we do when we're sitting on the couch watching TV. So, yeah. And with that, before I start crying, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one.